There was an article in CNBC just today, March the 24th, and as a lot of people know, Elon Musk bought a lot of Bitcoin for his company, and he stated here that you can now buy Tesla with Bitcoin, CEO Elon Musk said, but it could be a real big tax bill depending on what you actually paid for your Bitcoin. As you know, the IRS treats Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency as property, which means that when it is disposed of, including when it's used to purchase goods and services, it is a taxable event. How much you could owe in taxes depends on how long you've had the Bitcoin, how much of a gain it's generated, and your other taxable income. Now, starting prices for Tesla ranges anywhere from about $38,000 to $80,000. One of the things this article is talking about, there was also an article in Bloomberg about this, is the IRS is going to be taking visits to these big ticket item places like Tesla, Mercedes-Benz places, yachts, where places you can buy yachts, just regular boat places. These are big ticket items that people will be buying with Bitcoin. They don't need to look for you. What they'll do is go to the dealerships and these boat places, and they'll just get a list of all the people who bought with Bitcoin. This is how they nab you. And then they start getting other stuff too that you didn't report with Bitcoin at other places, because now they know that you didn't report on that, so they're going to be looking for other stuff too. My suggestion, and I tell people this, is you're better off reporting this Bitcoin. I see a lot of people that don't want to report it, but what I would do is report it. If you don't like taxes, get your ass out of the U.S. or wherever you're at. If you're in Italy, France, some other high tax country, the UK, if you're in those places, all you have to do is break your residency ties tax-wise and get out, and do it before your assets build up. It's just, I see all these people trying to do this planning after their assets are big. You need to be building your business and building up your assets when you're outside of the high tax country. If it's France, Germany, whatever, you need to detax yourself from that residency-wise. If it's the U.S., you need to relinquish. Pay the tax and get out, and then relinquish if you're a U.S. citizen, and don't go in the U.S. more than 120 days a year and break the substantial presence test, and don't get a green card. Don't try to go back in with the E2 treaty and set up an E2 treaty with a business in the U.S. and then be subject to taxes on your worldwide income on that business, because you're going to have to pay taxes on that business worldwide, even if you don't break the substantial presence test. That substantial presence test only affects you, and your company is affected no matter, even if you don't, even if you're outside the U.S. all the time, if it's a company that's in the U.S. making money. So, what I'm trying to get across to you here is, if you want to get around all taxes, you need to move outside the U.S. if you're a U.S. citizen, and get all your assets out too. Most people don't know this, but once you become a non-resident alien of the U.S. and you're still having stocks like mutual funds and equities and other things that are in the U.S., you're subject to the estate tax, even as a non-resident alien, at $60,000 US. It totally changes once you become a non-resident foreign person. These are things that you need to plan ahead of time and to get your assets out totally. But if you're in a situation where you're thinking about buying big ticket items in the U.S. and you're doing it with Bitcoin and you're not reporting it, you're going to get in a lot of trouble, because it's very easy for the IRS to go out to these places. And in fact, they're already talking about doing it. They're going to be going to these big ticket item type places, and all they do is subpoena the records from Tesla, other places, and they'll find out the people that are buying with Bitcoin. It's that simple. It's not a hard thing to do. And so they don't have to look for you. They'll just go out to the dealerships and find out the people that are buying with Bitcoin, or the yacht places or whatever. And they can actually subpoena records overseas with Tesla on U.S. people that bought. Okay, they're U.S. citizens that are buying. Okay, remember, the foreign overseas exclusion doesn't guard you against capital gains tax. So, and they can get those figures in the U.S. on U.S. people overseas. So these are things that you need to think about ahead of time, and a lot of people are not planning ahead of time in doing this. So I'm telling you, pay the tax, and if you don't like paying the tax, which a lot of people don't like, then relinquish your U.S. citizenship and get out and then get your other assets out. You may be aware that you can now purchase Tesla using Bitcoin. That's very public now. And Tesla CEO, in fact, this article was talking about, now he announced late on Tuesday that now you can buy those vehicles or Tesla vehicles with Bitcoin. And if the idea, he says here, if the idea appeals to you, here's a twist. The tax man will be hovering his palms over your purchase. And it talked about here that when you use Bitcoin to purchase goods or services, you're in effect selling that cryptocurrency. And for tax purposes, the IRS treats Bitcoin and its brethren as property whose sale comes with either a gain or loss, depending on whether it's worth more or less than what you paid for it. It also stated here that it's really important to know the cost basis of any cryptocurrency, the value when you bought it, and the timing of that, said Garrett Wilson, a senior policy analyst at a tax foundation. That's going to determine how much is subject to tax and what tax rate you're paying. And then he went on to say that right now the Bitcoin is worth around $56,000 when this article was written, up from about $6,700 a year ago. And last month, Tesla announced that it had bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, would soon begin accepting Bitcoin as a form of payment for its electric vehicles. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more in the article. But first of all, if you've got any assets that are at least 1 million US or above, or you've got an income of at least 150,000 US and you want to legally get your income taxes to zero, or how to get a second passport as quick as 3 months, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen here, and you'll get new videos as they come out automatically. And number 2 is I'd like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, just put it below and I'll get back with you. And number 3 is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help if you're trying to solve a problem or an issue there. Okay, now, Elon Musk says that customers can buy with Bitcoin. So, their cars with Bitcoin. So you're going to have to think about preparing yourself ahead of time to go in and report this, because you're going to have money maybe outside for these big ticket items to pay the tax on that. And my suggestion is to pay it. If you don't like the tax, then just get outside the country that you're living in. If it's the U.S., you're going to have to relinquish your U.S. citizenship. Other countries like France, Germany, that tax based on residency, high taxes on your worldwide income. If you're a resident living in that country, you need to break your taxes, residency, away from that country, and move to a tax haven or a territorial tax system that doesn't tax Bitcoin. This is the key thing that you need to do. And there are loads of places you can do that with. But it talks about here, if you're going to use Bitcoin that you held for at least 1 year or less, any increase between its value when you bought it and when you use it to make any sort of purchase is considered a short-term gain, and you'd be taxed as ordinary income tax rates, which range anywhere from 10% to 37%, depending on your total income. Be aware that depending on your other income and the amount of the short-term gain, you could be pushed into a higher tax bracket. For example, if you had $40,000 in taxable income without the Bitcoin transaction, the highest rate you'd pay on that would be 12%. If you were to add a Bitcoin gain of $10,000 to that, it would push you into the next bracket, which comes with a margin rate of 22% for income above $40,425 US dollars. Now, on the other hand, if you had held the Bitcoin for more than a year when you made the purchase, you'd be taxed on a long-term capital gains tax rate, which is or either 0%, 15%, or 20%, depending on which bracket you fall into at that time. Now, one way to reduce your capital gains taxation is to use other investment losses against it. If you have capital gains losses elsewhere, one way you can minimize that tax bill is by using a loss against your Bitcoin. If you have more losses than gains, you generally can use up to $3,000 a year to offset other income off your federal taxes and carry forward additional amounts to future years. But Tesla has a spot on its website that provides some details of how it will handle Bitcoin purchases. So, this is something you're going to have to think about ahead of time, because you're going to get yourself in a ball of mess, of trouble, if you go in these places and you don't report it, because there's going to be a paper trail showing this. Anyway, if you got any questions or comments, put it below. Also, I'd like to hear from you. If you just put that below, and I'll see what I can do to help you. And don't forget to hit the subscription button to the right of your screen here, and you'll get new videos automatically as they come out. And also, don't forget to hit that notification bell next to that subscribe button. And also go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and hit that top bar that says apply with us, fill out those questions, and then hit that bottom bar that says send it to us so we can help you get started. We deal with a lot of citizenship by investment, residency by investment countries all over the world. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.